Hey guys, back again with another video. I know it's been a while. I just haven't had the time to do videos lately. But this is going to be a type of video I haven't done in a very long time. And that's a gaming pickups video. This would cover the last like 3 or 4 months. I guess I'll put that in the title. I used to do these a lot, but I just don't buy as many games as I used to. But I've actually picked up quite a bit in the last few months, and some of these I've actually already played through, and I haven't done a review or anything like that on, so I'll just talk about them here. So this is gonna kind of be a mix of like a pickups video and a games I've been playing recently video. So a couple PS4 games, a couple 3DS games, Switch games, and Wii games actually. We'll start with the PS4 games, I think. And the first one we've got here is DMC Definitive Edition on PS4 here. I haven't opened this yet, but the Devil May Cry series is one of those series I want to do a review on. I actually quite enjoy the series. I really enjoy them. But this is the only one I haven't played because of all the negative reviews around it. Although I've heard the Definitive Edition fixes a lot of the complaints with like the gameplay. I definitely don't like what they've done with the character from what I've seen, but I mean the combat seems fine enough. I don't know, Ninja Theory, I think Ninja Theory are the ones that did this, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it was Ninja Theory that did this. Yeah, I've not been a big fan of their games in the past. I mean, they've been okay. Like Enslaved is one of those games that people are like love, and I've never got the adoration for that game. Like I think that game's got mediocre combat. I don't think the story is that good, and the ending is just fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I really hate the ending of that game, but yeah. I do want to do the series review on Devil May Cry, and this is the last game I need to play to do that. Don't know when I'm going to get around to this, but it was pretty cheap, and it was like a sealed copy at EB Games for like the used price. You see the used sticker here, so yeah, it was actually pretty cheap, and I definitely did want it on PS4, like the Definitive Edition. So yeah, I got this. The next one, I got this a long time ago, but I haven't talked about this on the channel at all, other than like one of the recent podcasts, Final Bosses podcasts, but I picked up the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 on the PS4. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game before picking this up. It's always one of those series I've wanted to try, but I never had the nostalgia for it growing up. I didn't play it as a kid. I'm not the biggest Disney fan, but I did play through the first Kingdom Hearts a while ago here now, and it made me want to go back and watch a lot of these Disney movies that I only saw like once as a kid. And yeah, I haven't gone through. I've played the first game now. I beat that. I might do a review on the channel soon. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty great game. I really liked the combat, the exploration of the Disney worlds I thought was fantastic. The soundtrack is really fucking good. I definitely had some complaints with it. It can be clunky at times. And some of the difficulty spikes are kind of ridiculous. And I hate the final boss in the first Kingdom Hearts. It's fucking aggravating, at least one phase of it. But I did really enjoy the game overall. The story was actually decent. It wasn't too complex yet, but then I played Chain of Memories after, and that's where it just started to get a little crazy. It started to become a little too much for me, and I could tell from here on that it's just going to get more convoluted as we go throughout the series. But Chain of Memories, I don't care for. I got maybe halfway through it and I dropped it. I do not like the card-based battle system. I just don't think it works well with the real-time combat that they've got going on. I think the game is really repetitive. The exploration is lacking from the first game. You're going through the same worlds you've already gone through. The Disney stuff is far less pronounced and not as interesting. I just really did not care for Chain of Memories, but unfortunately you do have to play it to understand the story bits in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. So I ended up going on YouTube and watched the rest of the cutscenes. So I think I'm ready for the second game now. Whenever I'll have the time for it. Apparently it's a big improvement over the first game as far as gameplay goes, so I'm definitely looking forward to finally playing that game. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 was one of those games I didn't think I would like that much, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. I quite enjoyed my time with it. I'm looking forward to playing the rest of the series. The names are so stupid with these games. 1.5 plus 2.5, and there's 2.8 final chapter prologue. Like, what the fuck, man? It's ridiculous, but that's Kingdom Hearts for you. Next, we've got a game I haven't played yet, Ys 8. What's the subtitle for this one? Lacrimosa of Dana. It's a stupid subtitle. I love the Ys series. I haven't played every one yet. I still haven't played Ys 7. And then I guess there's Ark of Nepishtim, but I don't think I need to play that. I haven't heard the greatest things about that game. But this game's been getting great reviews. I really love the combat in these games and the music. I've heard the storytelling in this game is pretty weak, but the storytelling's never been all that great in the Ys series. You play these games for the fast-paced combat and great RPG elements to it, and like the exploration and things like that. I had to pick this up. I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. After one of the 3DS games I'm playing, I'm probably going to start this next. It's still sealed. I haven't opened it, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing this. And then after this, I'll probably have to go back to Ys 7 at some point. It did get a Steam release fairly recently, so that's pretty awesome. If you haven't played an Ys game, definitely check them out. I think they're really underrated. I feel like a lot of people don't give them enough of a chance. I don't know. I think they've got some of the best combat in JRPGs. A lot of people know my opinions on the Trails in the Sky series, and you would think a lot of people would think I'm just not a Falcom fan, but no, I really like the Ys games. I think they're pretty excellent. And then the last PS4 game is Destiny 2. A lot of you were probably surprised I would buy something like this. I mainly bought it because I have a lot of friends that are playing this, and I thought it might be a fun game to play with them. And this is what I've been spending most of my time with. I think I'm finally at the point, though, where I'm going to move on to other games, though. I've had a lot of fun with this game. I didn't play the first one. I played the beta of it, and then the negative reviews started coming out, and I looked at it. I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to play that. But with Destiny 2, I heard they made a lot of improvements, so I decided to jump in. There's a lot to say about this game. I don't want to go too in depth with it, but basically, it's a very grindy game. There's an actual story this time around compared to Destiny 1, which had a bare-bones story to it. So there is actually a story here. It's terrible. It's not very good at all. The writing in this game is utter trash. But there is at least a story, and the actual missions themselves are pretty fun with a lot of varied objectives. Don't play this game if you're going to play it by yourself, though. Make sure you have people that are going to play this game with you, because it's extremely boring by yourself. I did kind of like the content. It's kind of like you kind of run out of things to do eventually. You're kind of doing the same things over and over again, like a lot of like the strikes and things like that to get better loot. By the time you finish the story, you're already going to be at the max level, and at that point you're trying to get your power level up, which is kind of like an average of all the gear you've got equipped. So the end game of Destiny 2 is just repeating recycled content and like quests, basically, to try to get more powerful gear to level up towards the raid, or raids, and they'll add more raids to the game, and that's like the big challenging part of Destiny 2. And it took a long time to even get to the point where I could actually play the raid. A lot of the strikes, I think, are really fun in this game. And again, this game encourages cooperation, and I like how varied a lot of the objectives are. The game looks incredible. It's one of the best looking games I've seen. Like, the planets are, like, the foliage and just the environment design in this game is spectacular. Really excellent music, too. The music is surprisingly good in this game. Like, it's eclectic and weird. It almost feels like a Japanese soundtrack. It's kind of odd. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't expect from a AAA Western game like this. I really enjoy the soundtrack. But anyways, I did eventually get to try the raid with some of my friends. We got like halfway through it. We got to this, like, it's really challenging, and it's cool in a lot of aspects. It requires extreme cooperation, and each team member has to be like holding their own. It requires teamwork, and there's a lot of varied objectives within the raid. But we eventually got to this part where it's like a stealth section where you have to, like... It's too hard to explain. Like, it's really convoluted, this section. But basically, the slightest mistake, and you immediately fail, at least in the beginning of it. Eventually, there's ways to get around to not failing immediately, but there's like a time limit kind of thing going on to it as well. It's really hard to explain, but I really don't care for it. We probably tried it for like 3 hours, and we just couldn't get past it. It's just like, it's because it's one of those things where it's like, it's a stealth segment in a game that's not a stealth game. So there's a lot of like these AI quirks and all like these glitches that happen that basically fuck you, and you have to redo it. So I don't know, it was very frustrating. I was really enjoying the raid up until this one section, and we kind of gave up in frustration. They're going to try to probably go back to it, but, like, I was just not having fun with it. So I was just like, ugh, I don't want to be playing this anymore. It's just annoying. But yeah, I kind of feel like I've kind of hit my peak with this game. I think a lot of my friends are going to continue playing this and get their power level up. I've reached the point where I'm kind of bored with it. I might casually play it here and then, but I don't want to spend like every hour that I have for games on Destiny 2. I don't like it that much. I don't. I enjoy it. It's definitely a great game. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I don't see myself sticking with it like a lot of people do with these games. There's just too many games this year that I want to spend my time with. I don't want to spend the rest of the year playing Destiny 2, but that said, it still is a fun game. I would definitely recommend it if you have people to play with. I do enjoy it. But that's the PS4 games. Let's move on to Switch games, actually. Only two. We've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe here. A used copy came in at EB Games. I decided to pick this up. I traded in my Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. I haven't actually touched this game yet, but I figured, you know what, I really enjoyed Mario Kart 8. It's a really great game with friends, and there's a lot of added content to this one as well. And I never actually owned the DLC in the Wii U version, so I thought, you know what, this is probably a good game to pick up on the Switch. One of these days I'm probably going to try to sell my Wii U version of Breath of the Wild to get the Switch version of that, but yeah, I decided to grab Mario Kart 8. And then a recent release on the Switch, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I was looking forward to this game, looking at the coverage of it, because it looked like a Mario Rabbids XCOM game, basically. In a lot of ways, that's what it is. Unfortunately, I don't know. I might come back to this game here and there and kind of like play it listening to podcasts or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't think I care for this game that much. I mean, it's not a terrible game. It can be quite fun. I do like the battles in this game. They're very similar to XCOM, and there's a lot of cool movement options in this game, and there's a lot of tactical depth to the combat. There's skill trees for each character, which is great. It's just everything else about this game that I can't stand. I hate the Rabbids. I hate the dialogue in this game. I don't think it's very interesting. It's just kind of annoying. The exploration segments between battles, I think, are really tedious and not fun at all. They're basically, like, the entirety of the game is basically just block-pushing puzzles. And then when it's not block-pushing puzzles, it's other puzzles that are just annoying, and they get in the way of the fun stuff of the game, and that's the battles. I just do not care for the exploration in this game, like, at all. It looks nice. I really like the visuals to the game, but, I mean, other than the combat, I just don't think there's that much going on here. I'd much rather play XCOM. I actually prefer the battles in that game, and then I love the simulation aspects to XCOM. I think there's just more in XCOM. I don't know, the XCOM just appeals to me more, whereas in this game, I just like the battles. And even though I like the battles, I can't play this game for extended periods. I get kind of bored with it after like an hour or two. It's not a bad game. It's certainly not a bad game. I think it is enjoyable. It just, I don't know, something about it that just it's not hooking me. I've gotten to like the end of the third world, and I don't know, I'm finding it a little tough to continue playing it. So I don't know. I'm kind of like half dropping it, half not. I'm kind of playing it in short bursts periodically, but a lot of people are loving this game, though. I seem to be in the minority here with being kind of down on it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not doing much for me for some reason. Let's move on to Wii games, actually. I sold off a lot of my Wii collection in the past, and I kind of regret it, so I'm kind of trying to buy games that I already had that I'd like back in my collection. So we'll start with a game that I don't even like, but I kind of want it just for the collection. But that's Super Paper Mario on the Wii. Yeah, I've talked about this in my Mario RPG series review. This is like the downfall of the Mario RPG series to me. Like, this was the start of it. I have a lot of issues with this game. This video is going to go on too long if I talk about this game too much in depth. You can visit my Mario RPG series review to get full thoughts on this, but I don't know, it was really cheap. It was like a couple dollars, so I was like, you know what, I kind of want it back for the collection. And maybe one day I'll play it again and see if my mind's changed on this one. Maybe I'll appreciate this game more after the Sticker Star games, or the Paper Mario Color Splash and Sticker Star. This game, honestly, is probably a lot better than those two now if I had played this game again. But yeah, I picked that up. I picked up Skyward Sword, actually. I regret selling this. It came in at EB Games. I decided to buy it because it's a little tough to find this one now. It's interesting, Skyward Sword. I talked about this in my Zelda series review. I like Skyward Sword. There's a lot of positive qualities to it. A lot of negative qualities too. The imprisoned boss battle, the egregious amount of padding at the late game, like 15 hours worth of garbage that could have been cut from the game. Some motion control issues, rampant tutorialization of everything, the incredibly slow opening of the game. It's got a lot of issues, but playing Breath of the Wild and kind of reflecting on Skyward Sword, I've realized that, you know what, this game has a lot of strengths that Breath of the Wild lacks. For one, the dungeons in this game are fantastic compared to Breath of the Wild. This game's a lot more clever in its dungeon design and its puzzle design. The desert sections of this game are far more clever and interesting than any moment-to-moment gameplay in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, amazing exploration, which this game lacks, and it doesn't have the tutorialization of this game. But I mean, the bosses in this game in Skyward Sword are a hell of a lot better than Breath of the Wild. The combat, even, I actually prefer in Skyward Sword. I think it's a little more unique. The motion controls kind of add something a little different to the combat, where it's I don't know, I think it's like a downgrade from, say, Twilight Princess in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, it's weird. I feel like Skyward Sword, after playing Breath of the Wild, I appreciate more about Skyward Sword. Now, Skyward Sword is not better than Breath of the Wild. Don't get me wrong here. I do still prefer Breath of the Wild. I think it's a better Zelda game. But, I don't know, I think people are a little too hard on Skyward Sword. This game did things right that Breath of the Wild didn't. And I think people are kind of maybe coming around on that, but even the first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, I immediately knew that, oh, Skyward Sword does some things better. But yeah, Skyward Sword I still think is worth playing if you're a Zelda fan and you haven't touched it yet. But yeah, I wanted to add it back into the collection. And another one, the last Wii game here, is Xenoblade Chronicles. I guess a reprint of this happened for sealed copies. They've come into EB Games, at least in Canada. I don't know if GameStop in the States has some of these back in stock, but yeah, I sold my copy of it a long time ago, and I always regretted that. Excuse me. But yeah, sealed copy for the used price. It was a little expensive, but you know what? It was cheaper than getting it on eBay, and I'd like to play through this game again at one point. I got like 30 hours into it, and my save data got corrupted on a European copy that I imported back before we even had an idea that this was going to come out. That was back when we thought this game would only be in Europe. So yeah, the North American copy. I'd like to play this before Xenoblade 2 comes out, but it's not going to happen. That's going to be impossible. This is like a 90-hour RPG, and I don't have the time for this. So I don't know when I'm finally going to get around to this game, but I did still want it in my collection at least. Sorry, a bit of a cough. And then finally the two 3DS games. I picked up Monster Hunter Stories. Played the demo. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cool twist on like the Pokemon style gameplay, and I'm such a big Monster Hunter fan that I knew I had to have this. It's still sealed. I don't know when I'm going to get around to this. I'd like to get around to it sometime this year for Game of the Year deliberations, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to have the time for it. It's another 40-hour RPG. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know if a lot of people ended up buying this game, but the reviews are quite good. It seems like it's going to be one of those hidden gems of 2017. So yeah, I definitely wanted to pick it up. I could have maybe waited until it dropped in price or something like that, but I don't know if this is going to be a game that you're going to be able to easily find a couple months from now. I don't know. I feel like they probably wouldn't print many copies of this. It's a very niche game. I don't see it doing terribly well. So I wanted to pick it up just in case it would be hard to find later. But the final game, the game I just started actually a few hours ago, and that's Metroid Samus Returns. Super excited for this one. A new Metroid game, side-scrolling Metroid game. Fantastic, man. I was a bit worried with Mercury Steam developing this game, considering I've hated every single one of their games. But I gotta say, based on the 3 hours I've put into it so far, I'm really enjoying it, actually. I think there's a lot of design decisions in this game that I think are actually really interesting and add a lot to the combat, especially. The melee counter, I think, is great. It requires pretty good timing, but it's I don't know. I like what it adds to the combat. It makes it feel better. As well as the free aim. It basically makes the Metroid fights in this a lot better than in Metroid... excuse me, Metroid Another Remake, AM2R. I think the Metroid fights in this are handled a lot better because of the changes to combat. It's still got great exploration. It's definitely a little more combat-focused than some previous Metroids, but I don't mind so much when the additions they've made are pretty good. The Scan Pulse ability in this game I think is kind of interesting, where it highlights bombable walls that look the same as everything else. So it kind of removes that aspect of Metroid games where you're bombing every wall looking for those secrets, which I kind of like as well. I'm going to do a full review on this game and a review on the Metroid series in general. But I like it so far. I gotta say, I'm really digging it. It controls great. The 3D looks actually really good. The visuals of this game, it doesn't look that great when you're watching gameplay footage, but actually playing it on the 3DS, it actually looks pretty good. The music, it's a lot of remixes of classic Metroid songs, which I like as well. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this. So far, so good. It seems like Mercury Steam has finally made a good game. Obviously, Nintendo is probably a big factor there, helping them develop the game and making sure it's really polished. But I'm really enjoying this. If you're a Metroid fan, obviously you've already picked it up. But even if you're not, it's just a great side-scrolling exploration shooter. Definitely look forward to putting more hours into this. Look forward to a Metroid series review, but impressed. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I'm pleasantly surprised by this, and the reviews are really good for this as well, but hopefully it doesn't shit the bed. Hopefully there's not terrible design later in the game, but based on the first few hours, yeah, I'm liking it. Excuse me. I got a cough all of a sudden. I don't know, I guess it's all the talking, but I'm not gonna cut that out, sorry guys, but because it kind of happened in the middle of talking there, but yeah. A lot of games, holy shit! I've picked up a lot of games the past few months, and I kind of wanted to do a video talking about them. So kind of a mix of a pickups video of games I've been playing recently. September is such an insane month. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Cuphead I want to get on Steam there. Danganronpa version 3 I have to get. I'm such a big Danganronpa fan. October's pretty stacked. Mario Odyssey comes out, which looks fantastic. I can't wait for that game. There's Evil Within 2 and the new Wolfenstein, which I kind of want to play. I don't want to pay full price for them, though. I do still want to play them, though. Xenoblade 2 got announced for December 1st, so definitely going to be playing that all December. Yeah, not too many months left of the year, but still a bunch of heavy hitters coming. It's insane. What have you guys picked up recently? What have you guys been playing recently? Have you played any of the games I've shown here? That's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.